I wanted to talk today about, well, number one, there's a reason why I'm wearing a Blackhawks jersey and not an Avs jersey or a Canadiens jersey or anything like that. And it's to talk about how I think the NHL playoffs are dead this year. Um, I'm kind of like, is this a cope video about Vegas whooping Colorado? Yeah, partially. But I also just want to talk about how they haven't been very fun to watch. They, like, last year, the playoffs were fun to watch up until the end. But this year, it's just felt like a ton of bullshit over and over. The Canadians are winning series, but can't seem to win individual games. They put what seems to be a lot of effort into taking 15 shots into a game and somehow scoring 3 goals. And that's going to work, but now they're facing that's going to work for the first couple rounds, but now they're facing the Hurricanes. And I honestly, as someone who's rooting for Montreal, do I cut that first win they got as a lucky break? Because like I'm not that like yeah, like I guess last night too was they scored their first shot on goal and then didn't score again forever. Got like 15 shots I think at the end of the game. At least last time I checked. I had to click out of it because it was so boring for me to watch. And it's just been depressing. It's been depressing watching Vegas slam Colorado. I like obviously fuck Carter Hart and he's like the worst person in hockey right now. But I also want to say that I've been talking with a couple people in like the What Chaos Discord and another hockey Discord about how this playoffs especially it feels as if the NHL is paying commentators to talk good about Hart. Hart played a really shit series against who they play in the first round, Utah. It wasn't he wasn't the shittest ever, but like he was not good. And you would hear all the time about commentators going, "Oh, like Hart with this absolutely fucking amazing save." And it got to a point where I had to turn the audio off on streams because number one, you don't want to constantly think about someone doing that kind of shit every time their name gets brought up. And with someone like him, you do because that's what he's known for. He wasn't good in Philly. He's not really good now. He plays in front of a okay Vegas team that Colorado should be able to beat. And at the end of the day, he's a rapist. He's a sexual abuser. And I don't know. It makes me extremely depressed to watch the Vegas games right now. Extremely depressed to watch the Montreal games right now. And that's kind of all that's going on because Colorado doesn't seem to be putting their all into stuff. Montreal seems to be putting their all in not being able to succeed. And I'm not someone that is necessarily not a fan of the Carolina Hurricanes. I almost went to a Carolina Hurricanes when I was in North Carolina earlier this year. Um, but I didn't end up getting to go. But I have nothing against the Canes. Besides the fact I think that they're a boring team to watch. They don't have any like one big superstar. I think like this. I say career year of Brandon Bussey like it's not his first year in the NHL, but like that was fun to watch. But also he wasn't like a star goaltender either. He won a lot of games, but I think he ended the season with a 901 save percentage or something like that. And that's it. Like I said, he's fun to watch. It's always cool to see like a right hand catch goalie too. I think that's really interesting as someone that's like really interested in goalies because there's only a couple of them in the league. But like Aho puts up 60, 70 points a year. Jarvis scores a couple goals, but like, and he's getting there. I know Jarvis is like 24, I think, so he's pretty young. But Carolina is a boring team to watch. The one person I do love watching on that team is Jacob Slavin. With just like you see like amazing clips of him just like Like, obviously, he's not able to score any points, but his shutdown defense is incredible, and I love watching that. And then, like, you have on the other side with Vegas is just Vegas is boring hockey to watch. Vegas has superstars, and they're annoying. They play a boring version of hockey, and so I've basically not watched any games. I watched Chicago played Vegas a couple times throughout the regular season, and I only watched one of the games like a quarter of the way through because it's boring, and that was before Hart started playing with them. So that makes me want to watch it even more, or even less. Like hearing about like how Hart's on the team and Hart this, Hart this. Nah, dude. Like I don't care. At the end of the day, he's a sexual abuser. He has no place in hockey, and it feels like the commentators are getting paid off to talk good about him. Like there's literally goalies like I want in my head I want to name Spencer Knight, but that would look very biased as a Blackhawks fan. But like John Gibson did incredibly good this year. I don't know if it was a career year for him, but it was absolutely one of his best. And listening to like Detroit games, even on the Detroit broadcast, you don't hear people glazing John Gibson like that. You just don't. And also like games that Vejmelka would play against Hart in that first series when Vejmelka would be doing better, it would be Vejmelka makes a save, blocker save, all this to blocker to the side, and then Hart would make a save that is to the chest, and it would literally be like Hart with the amazing save. It's just he's just such a good young goaltender. And like I don't know, I would talk to other people about how that really pissed me off. Just being like, I don't know, man. It literally seems like the league is paying these fucking commentators to talk about shit like this, which is just really annoying. I don't know if I'll be watching the final even. I haven't really been watching any of the second round. Like I said, I've been kind of riding for the not the Carolina Hurricanes, the Montreal Canadiens to win. But if they make it to the final, I'll probably watch. But if it's like a Colorado Carolina, Vegas Carolina final, I just really don't care. I have a couple. I have one Avs jersey and like an Avs hat. I do like the Avs, but they haven't been fun to watch for the past week or 2 weeks. The LA series was also like absolutely nothing. The Minnesota Wild was definitely fun to watch with those first couple games, but like I don't know, man. Yeah. I am excited for the regular season next year. I'm really excited for hopefully what should be the Blackhawks step up, and people have been saying that since Connor Bedard arrived. But also, yeah, you have like also the surge of like Macklin Celebrini and stuff, and you hear a lot of people talking about like but every Chicago fan wishes they had Celebrini now, and I don't think that's true. I love Celebrini as a player. I have a Celebrini jersey. I think he's fucking incredible to watch. Am I a little salty as a Blackhawks fan that he hit 115 points or whatever this season and Bedard hit 70? Yeah. Obviously, I'm going to be salty. He's younger than Bedard. They're both great. Like I can like both of them. And I don't necessarily like the Sharks as a team. I'm not. I would never. I don't think root against them. But also just kind of a boring team outside of Celebrini. Will Smith's play is great too, but I'm excited for the Blackhawks to have hopefully a step up next year. Am I pissed they re-signed Kyle Davidson for I think another 3 years? Abso-fucking-lutely. I think I think that's a shit idea, but hopefully that backfires in my face and I'm an idiot in a year like from saying that, you know. I'm super excited to watch Spencer Knight. I really hope Bedard is able to play an entire season, and I'm honestly, I think it's no. I don't think there's been any like inside reports about Soderblom being out. But I can only assume that they called Drew Comesso up. He had a shutout in like his second game. I think he played a little bit of another one when Soderblom was out sick. I can't remember for sure though. But yeah, he's a super cool young talented goalie. Obviously the goalies in the AHL right now are kind of stacked. I looked at the list the other day. The only ones I can think of off the top of my head are Michael DiPietro, and I'm blanking on the Penguins goalie's name, but they're both like super young stars. Hold on, let me look up AHL Penguins goalie. I forgot his name. It's something Russian. Sergei Miroshov. I know he got called up to the roster earlier this year, and didn't get any playing time. But I remember like Penguins Jesus on Twitter, like talking about like play Miroshov, play Miroshov, play Miroshov, and I cannot wait to see like those two talented young goalies play next year because I don't know if Shilovs stays in the NHL all of next season. I'd assume at least at the end they give Miroshov some playing time, some starts, depending on where they're sitting in the playoffs race. But Michael DiPietro is someone I'm so excited to see play. Like so excited. I think him and Swayman will be an insane fit together. Swayman had an amazing year this year. Like I think one thing that's a little annoying about Swayman, as not as much a fan of the Boston Bruins, but more of a fan of Jeremy Swayman, is when he has good games, he's playing so good. He's so fucking amazing. And then when he has bad games, he's letting in 4 goals on 10 shots or something like that. And it's like a little hard to watch. Like I'm someone that's absolutely not afraid to turn a game off if I don't like watching it anymore. I had to do that today when Vegas tied it against Colorado. So I'm absolutely not opposed to that. But like, I don't know, when I watch someone like Spencer Knight, who is obviously, I think he just turned 24, so also like a good young goalie. He's just like, when he has bad games, it's he's gonna let in 4 goals, but also it's like 30 shots, and the Blackhawks can't fucking score or defend for anything. So it's like it's hard to blame them. And then there's obviously like every goalie has bad games. There's no goalie in the league that's absolutely perfect. So like all the goalies that are starting 50 to 60 games every season are gonna have a game where they let in like 5 goals and their coach doesn't pull them, so they let in another 2. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm more talking about the games where Swayman will play 3 good ones and then have a tremendously bad one, like in pretty quick succession. So, yeah, I'm also excited to watch Connor Hellebuck play next year. I don't know if the Jets will be any better, but I hope that he has a bounce back. He's an amazing goaltender too. We saw the like peak of his potential through the Olympics, and I really do hate talking about the Olympics because it makes me feel like a piece of shit as an American. Like it's some of the most national pride I've ever felt leading up until after they won it, when you hear about like the them calling fucking Trump and making jokes about like the women's hockey team and stuff, and then like visiting the White House, and all the people that I look up to are pieces of shit. And obviously they're millionaires, and they're fucking half the league is fucking MAGA. I was talking about that with someone in the What Chaos Discord. But it still hurts. It's people I've looked up to, not necessarily when I was younger. I mean, I'm sure fucking Patrick Kane is fucking MAGA, and he's had his scandals. And I've always wanted to tell people like Patrick Kane is one of my favorite players, but I am truly a believer in that if they're accused and they're not proven innocent, they probably did that shit, especially with just like men in sports. So I have to live with this reality that Patrick Kane is an abuser, and it sucks, but it's the reality we're all living in. Because there's obviously a difference in trial when someone gets acquitted and when someone is innocent, or proven innocent, right? And when you hear, I don't want to go too into that because it is shit that does make me sad. Just like I don't want to talk anymore about the Hart situation. But it sucks, and not that like he would be someone that's not MAGA. I'm fucking sure he is, but it hurts to watch these people that it's like you care so much about the sport, you love the sport, and then you watch and you're like, the guys I love are fucking terrible people, and that sucks. I think everyone agrees with that, unless you're like, I don't know, a lot of the I don't want to get into the politics of it, but unfortunately, the reality is that politics are absolutely a part of sports, and anyone that says they're not a part of sports is lying. They've always been a part of sports. It's sports are some of the most like where some of the most influential politicians like gather in like if you like watch UFC, you're basically get whatever. But yeah, I'm excited for the regular season. I'm not so excited for the rest of the playoffs, especially if Vegas makes the finals. Like I said, if Vegas makes the finals and the Canadians also do, I'm not watching until there's an elimination game because I really don't care. And yeah, that's all I have to say today. I want to record videos more consistently, but all right, see you guys.